Can you see the screen?
I can, yeah. I'm just going to mute my microphone.
Okay, my name's Stephen Jones. The project is the individual project. I'm on the H&C Animation and Motion Graphics course. The title of my show is The Apprentice. The logline: a long time ago, in a castle far, far away, the devil made work for idle hands. Research. The audience. We see from the stats that 89% of streaming service viewers are between 18 and 39, and this is the age range that are most likely to view adult animation. These potential viewers are likely to have access to multiple devices to watch animation. They will spend money to watch shows that interest them. They will be heavy users of social media. Advertising on these platforms can then be targeted at them effectively. They will discuss their viewing habits on social media platforms and word of mouth with their peers and family. They will already be consumers of animation and are most likely to have siblings or children that watch animation on streaming services. History. Since The Simpsons first appeared in 1987, we've seen a resurgence in adult animation. The show led to a renaissance in adult-orientated animation. This rolling ball encouraged MTV and Liquid Television to create some amazing cutting-edge animation. And by 1997, we see the often controversial South Park hit our screens. Since then, adult animation has become big business, with Netflix, Disney Plus, and many other big players producing and commissioning adult animation. It seems animation has come full circle from its origins as short shows between movies in the 1920s and 30s. This often uncensored output stayed around until the Hays Code put a stop to it in the late 1930s. We see adult animation's last hurrah of the 20th century in Disney's Fantasia. Now in the 21st century, we see its bright future. Platforms. Animation is an ideal animation is an ideal format for streaming. It is generally simpler than moving images and is in its visual content, so it can be viewed on smaller screens well without much degradation of detail. Animation is generally serialized in short episodes, and for this reason, ideal for viewing on the move or when the viewer has a short period of free time. It can be binge-watched easier than hour-long episodes of movies, and most animation is cheaper to produce per minute than movies. Netflix. One of the niches that Netflix occupies is the adult animation niche. Netflix commissions and buys adult animation, which it sees as an important part to its offering. 2020 sees a host of new adult animations and new seasons of firm favourites. Netflix sees that adult animation is going to grow in popularity. Research. The fairy tale. The fairy tale is a type of folk tale, origins of which in some cases can be traced back thousands of years. They were originally passed on as oral history through the generations. They should contain magical elements and strange magical creatures. The protagonist is usually on a journey or a quest to find happiness and has to overcome many obstacles on the way. He or she represents good. They should and usually do have an antagonist. This person or character usually represents evil, counter to the protagonist who represents good. The antagonist can be a witch, evil stepmother, demon, or gnome. They should and usually do have an antagonist. This person or character usually represents evil, counters to the protagonist who represents good. The antagonist can be an evil stepmother, gnome, etc. They mostly have happy endings and moral tales to tell. These are all significant parts of the fairy tale makeup and occur in greater or lesser extent in most, if not all, classic fairy tales. In modern culture, the fairy tale still lives on, and its origins can be seen if you look hard enough. Pre-production routes are took, alternative routes to the show, rejected routes, Single episodes similar to Fractured Fairy Tales, which had no common theme to build on for longevity. A quest framework similar to Homer's Odyssey. Fairy tale characters encounter Odysseus, too far-fetched and too far away from the traditional fairy tale world to relate to the audience. The Apprentice in Oz, following the Yellow Brick Road. Copyright issues with that. Harry Potter style protagonist. It's been overdone, it's too familiar, and with not enough scope. The show synopsis. An animated fairy tale loosely based on The Sorcerer's Apprentice by Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. Our main character is the Sorcerer's Apprentice. The boy is nervous and lacks self-confidence. He tries too hard to please his master. The apprentice decides to try and impress the old sorcerer with magic, but things go horribly wrong. He lets loose an evil djinn who turns his master into a red balloon and imprisons them both in a book of fairy tales. The boy and his master have to journey through the book to find a way to escape, with often comic disasters. They will encounter many characters along the way, including the Tin Man from The Wizard of Oz, who has become a frenemy. The format is an animated serial of 12 episodes, 20 minutes in duration. This show will appeal to viewers of Disenchantment, Rick and Morty, Magicians, Game of Thrones, and many other fantasy shows and films. The show explores classic fantasy themes and is based in a fairy tale world that will be familiar to most of the viewers. The show twists these themes with adult humour and comedy. It appeals to nostalgic memories from childhood and presents them in a new, exciting way. Our main character is the Sorcerer's Apprentice, a familiar character that was animated by Walt Disney in the 1940s Fantasia. The Apprentice will be portrayed as a boy accompanied by the sorcerer who has been turned into a red balloon by an evil djinn. The red balloon character is a homage to the 1956 French movie, The Red Balloon. The red balloon and sorcerer can't speak but communicate by gestures and movements, similar to the way the balloon behaves in the film. The second character is the Tin Man, taken from The Wonderful World, Wizard of Oz, a novel by Frank L. Baum and the famous film. Styles and influences. All the character designs are based on a generic head shape. It will be easier to illustrate and animate these characters with familiar facial features that can then be used across other characters. I wanted the head shape to be reminiscent of early Jerry Anderson puppets, Stingray and Fireball XL5, for example. The characters are designed to have a visual appeal. Even the evil djinn has a hint of a round, pleasing facial shape with large eyes. The animation is meant to be humorous and appealing. The overall look is colourful and simple, similar to Matt Groening's creations for Futurama. The apprentice character is designed to show goodness, but with an anxious, worried expression to reflect the character traits. Think Charlie Brown or Woody Allen. The sorcerer shares the same head shape with the addition of grey beard and different shaped eyebrows. This gives the character age and a more serious, perplexed expression. He's a cartoon Gandalf. I wanted him to have a wise, benevolent expression, similar to famous wizards like Gandalf, Dumbledore, reflecting the character traits that viewers would recognise. The djinn, of course, is green. This gives him a distinctive alien-like appearance, more likened to a mythical creature. He has an evil expression exaggerated by a pointed beard and an oriental moustache and angry eyes. He still retains the generic head shape, but has a snake-like body with no legs, which is a traditional image for a djinn. Think of original Klingons from the 1960s Star Trek. The Tin Man is also based on generic head shape, modified so it retains features familiar to the original Tin Man. The funnel hat, the articulated wraparound jaw pay homage to the original, but I wanted to look with a more modern look. I took some inspiration from Bender, the robot in Futurama. This is the classic robot style, and hopefully the audience will recognise this inspiration. I wanted this look to convey mischief in a familiar vein to Bender's character traits. I wanted the character to be traditional cartoon style, but not too cute. The audience demographic in this is 18 to 39 age range, so nothing too childlike, but that still evoke echoes from favourite animations of their childhood. The animation will contain mostly dark adult humour. This gives juxtaposition to the look and feel of the characters. In a similar vein to South Park, the 5-year-old characters swear and discuss adult themes. These are the character studies. The characters. The Apprentice. Our main character is the Sorcerer's Apprentice, a familiar character that was animated by Walt Disney in the 1940s movie Fantasia. In this sequence, Disney used Mickey Mouse to play the part of the Apprentice. This is probably the most well-known sequence from the movie. The Apprentice will appear to be a similar character to Charlie Brown. Charlie Brown is characterized as a boy who frequently suffers, and as a result is usually nervous and lacks self-confidence. So will the Apprentice. He will try too hard to please his master with comedic consequences. The Sorcerer, stroke red balloon. The sorcerer is turned into a red balloon by the evil Jinn. The film, it is a homage to the film The Red Balloon and their Balan Rouge. The film is about a young boy who is on his way to school one morning and discovers a large red balloon. As he plays it, he realizes that it has a mind and will of its own. It begins to follow him wherever he goes, never straying far from him. At times floating outside his bedroom window as his mother in the apartment. The sorcerer can't speak but communicates by gestures and movements, similar to the way the balloon behaves in the film. The Jinn is a classic character similar to genies that appeared in the Arabian Nights, a collection of Middle Eastern folk tales compiled in Arabic during the Islamic Golden Age of 786 to 1258 AD and seen through popular culture. The Jinn is vain and evil and appears periodically to gloat and taunt our heroes as they try and escape the book to get home. He is a classic antagonist. The Tin Man is taken from the Wonderful Wizard of Oz, novel by Frank L. Baum. The Wizard of Oz, the Library of Congress declared as America's greatest and best loved homegrown fairy tale. The character of the Tin Man is known globally and is instantly recognisable, but that's where the association ends. He will not be the affable Tin Man of the book or film. He will be twisted and partisan, a frenemy of sorts with his own agenda. These animations I'm about to show you are animated snapshots that can be used in the pitch to show the client look and feel of the show. They give the viewer an insight into the show that a static illustration doesn't convey. It shows the style of environment and the way that the characters will move once animated. I chose the protagonist and antagonist. The Jinn isn't a major character, but he will be focus of evil. I wanted the viewer to see him animated with the smoke and particle effects. I wanted the viewer to see the naivety and anxiety of the apprentice character in this short sequence. It shows the apprentice failing to open a door with his inexperience and lack of magical skills. The plot summary, episode 1. The apprentice is left to do chores. He's bored and idle and he uses his magic with disastrous consequences. Episode 1, plot summary. The apprentice is left to do chores. He's bored and idle. He uses magic with disastrous consequences. and floods his master's room. He's chastised and decides he's chastised and decides to show his master he's worthy. He tries to use forbidden magic and lets an evil djinn loose, who turns his master into a red balloon. And he uses black magic to imprison both of them in the Book of Fairy Tales. The apprentice and the sorcerer find themselves in chapter 1 of the book. The Rapunzel fairy tale. The characters are alive. They see a village in the distance. The boy knows the fairy tale, so he takes his master to see the old sorceress who lives next door to Rapunzel's parents, with the hope of finding some help. The old woman tells them to get to the last page of the book. To do this, they will have a long journey ahead. The characters from the other books will also come alive. The Tin Man from the Wizard of Oz has entered the book and is following them. These are the thumbnails from the episode 1 pilot. Summary. Adult animation is very popular with our demographic 18 to 39. The platform, multi-platform with many advertising streams. Theme is a popular subject. Fantasy, Game of Thrones, adult themes and comedy. Production, cost-effective compared to live action. Market, with a multilingual soundtrack that opening up to a global audience. Longevity, equivalent shows run for many seasons. Style, retro, simple, eye-catching, colourful, and individual. Appeal, it's nostalgic, historical, fairy tale, and dark humour. Our bibliography. And a mood board showing some of the character studies, the environment, etc. Thank you.